Hi everyone. So what you're looking at right now is my new laptop, the 2021 Zephyrus G14 from ASUS's gaming division, the Republic of Gamers. The main draw of this laptop for me personally was the fact that you get the raw performance of a Dell XPS 17, but in a form factor that's right in between the XPS 13 and XPS 15 in terms of size and weight. Now before I dive into my impressions, let's get the specs and pricing out of the way. I have the laptop in its awesome looking Eclipse Grey variant with the Full HD 144Hz screen, Ryzen 7 5800HS CPU, RTX 3060 laptop graphics, 16 GB of RAM, and a 1 TB of fast NVMe SSD. The price 1,40,000 rupees, which translates to about 1900 US dollars for our foreign friends. To compensate a bit for the way higher price compared to other markets, ASUS India has made the Anime Matrix LED standard on all models of the Zephyrus G14 with the RTX graphics. They've also included their 1080p 60fps ROG webcam and a 14-inch laptop sleeve in the box. The laptop comes wrapped in a standard plastic packaging and comes with a 180-watt barrel pin charger, which is rather compact in size for its power output. Now, I have been using this laptop for about 2 weeks, and unfortunately, I have faced some issues already. The first couple of issues is regarding audio. This laptop has multiple performance modes, and in theory, the silent mode turns this laptop into an XPS type laptop with minimal power going into the components and the fans barely ramping up. The awesome part is that even in this mode, the Ryzen 7 chip here kicks ass in Cinebench R20 multi-threaded, getting more than 4000 points on battery power. That's faster than the last generation of i9 CPUs in laptops. The issue is that when you're listening to any sort of audio in the silent or Windows mode on battery power, the audio has minor stutters and pops. That occurs regardless of whether I'm using the laptop speakers or have my wired earphones plugged in. And the issue goes away when you plug in the laptop to the charger. The other audio issue is that in the silent or Windows mode on battery power, when streaming YouTube videos in the web browser, the audio eventually goes out of sync with the video. Take a listen.
The Scott Herkelman interview with PC
Yeah, that's
World,
right.
I think it was.
Yep.
And it didn't sound very positive at the time. They were sort of saying that they were trying a few different solutions and they were hoping, or they were planning to have it towards the end of the year. And it sort of sounded like a typical kind of AMD release. But yeah, they obviously were very careful about it. They didn't overpromise, and they've come out of nowhere with it, really.
Yeah, I think that's very, very fair at this point. It's one of those situations where
Now, this was a deal breaker for me as I purchased this laptop to primarily replace my 2015 version of the Dell XPS 13. Video streaming is a big part of my workflow on battery power, and the audio stuttering and syncing issues almost drove me insane. Fortunately, I was able to find a workaround. If you put the laptop in the default performance mode and then enable the battery saver option in Windows, the laptop pretty much behaves similar to its silent mode in terms of fan noise and estimated battery life. And now there is no stuttering or syncing issues when playing audio and videos.
It might have been a Q&A, the Scott Herkelman interview with PC
Yeah, that's
World,
right.
I think it was.
Yep.
And it didn't sound very positive at the time. They were sort of saying that they were trying a few different solutions and they were hoping,
This is still a compromise because every time I disconnect my laptop from the charger, I have to remember to turn on the battery saver to get quiet acoustics and good battery life. The laptop, unfortunately, doesn't remember to enable the setting automatically on battery power. And yes, before you ask, I'm running the latest BIOS, audio drivers, AMD chipset drivers, the whole 9 yards. Something as basic as audio issues making their way into the end product reflects poorly on ASUS's quality control and testing teams, in my personal opinion. I do hope that ASUS can deliver a BIOS and slash or a driver update to fix the audio issues when using the silent and Windows modes on battery power. The second issue is regarding the fingerprint sensor. The sensor itself works great in my experience. The issue is that when waking up from hibernation or from a cold boot, sometimes the laptop forgets to enable its fingerprint sensor. As such, you have to type in your password despite having a good quality fingerprint sensor on the laptop. And the only way to re-enable the sensor is to restart the laptop, which is quite irritating. And after seeing the quality control issues with the hardware in last year's G14 and this year's G15, I did put my laptop through extensive testing. I observed no dead pixels on the screen, no noticeable backlight bleed, no issues with the fans rattling around, no issues with the laptop's lid being bent, no coil whine issues, and no issues with the laptop speakers. Also, the fit and finish of the laptop feels nice, and there aren't any weird squeaking noises when picking up the laptop. Okay, and with all that out of the way, let me share my experience of using this laptop over the past 2 weeks. This laptop feels well built. It's made out of an alloy of magnesium and aluminum, and ASUS has added honeycomb reinforcements to the keyboard tech for a rather sturdy feel when resting your hands on the laptop. As such, this laptop weighs only 1.7 kilograms and is more compact than the typical 15-inch laptop despite being in a similar power class. The G14 also features ASUS's ErgoLift hinge design that raises the back of the laptop and allows for a more ergonomic typing experience when the laptop is on a table. And it also provides a nice air gap for the laptop's fans to draw in cool air. The screen looks nice despite the 1080p resolution, and it automatically switches to 60Hz when disconnecting the charger for a longer battery life. When gaming with the charger connected, the screen goes all the way up to 144Hz with adaptive refresh rate, and the gaming experience is great. There's still a dash of ghosting, but I didn't notice it personally during my gaming sessions. Coming to the keyboard, it's also great. Nice tactile feel, fairly quiet operation, and good travel distance on the keys. The 2021 G14 adds the home and page up and page down buttons integrated with the arrow keys. And we also have dedicated keys for volume control, muting the microphone, and opening the Armoury Crate control software. The trackpad is on the smaller side for modern laptop standards, but it uses the Windows Precision drivers and has a smooth glass surface. As such, tracking and gestures work well, and it has been a reliable trackpad to use. The speakers also sound great, provided you go into the Dolby Access application and enable the dynamic sound option. This effect feels equivalent to turning on Dolby Atmos on a Samsung phone, which is nice. The G14 is an easy laptop to get into since it uses standard plus shaped Phillips head screws. Do keep in mind that the screws in the front are shorter than the other screws. Getting inside, the SSD and the Wi-Fi card are user replaceable. You can also upgrade half of the RAM on this laptop, but doing so will reduce performance. And the battery is also easy to service for a technician, either from ASUS or from your local laptop repair shop, so you do have options there as well. Speaking of the battery, the laptop is rather great in this area. Unlike last year's G14, where quite a few people were reporting less than 4 hours of battery life due to the laptop's control center needlessly waking up the Nvidia graphics, that isn't the case for the 2021 version. When on battery, the laptop tries to use the power efficient iGPU for almost all tasks, which results in super long battery life estimates. But they're just that, estimates. For my real world usage, I'm getting around 6 to 7 hours, which is nice in my books. Now, I could have gotten better runtimes with the silent mode, but as I've shown before, it's basically unusable for me. The G14 has a decent number of ports. On the right side, you get the Kensington lock, two USB-A ports which are 5 gigabit per second speed, and a 10 gigabit per second Type-C port. On the left side, you have the parallel pin connector for the 180-watt charger, an HDMI 2.0 port, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a super roided out Type-C port. This Type-C connector on the left carries 10 gigabit per second USB, DisplayPort 1.4, and allows for up to 100 watt of USB-C power delivery charging into the laptop. So while this isn't a Thunderbolt port due to AMD laptop CPUs not having an integrated Thunderbolt controller, it is the next best thing. I do wish that this laptop had a micro SD slot and that one of the Type A ports was on the left side. Otherwise, the port selection is good. ASUS has also connected the HDMI port to the integrated graphics. This does reduce gaming performance when using an external monitor over HDMI, but it allows you to hook up an external wired display for better battery life during presentations. And I think it's the right choice made by ASUS for a portability focused gaming laptop. Now, if you do want that maximum FPS, you can use the DisplayPort connection over Type-C, which is directly connected to the discrete graphics. Now, if you want to see the in-depth gaming performance of this laptop, I'll highly recommend checking out Bob of All Trades' review on this laptop. I wanted to contribute something different to the G14 videos on YouTube, and that is deep learning performance. That's one major advantage of buying a laptop with NVIDIA's graphics. CUDA plus UDNN are pretty much the only way to go for doing deep learning natively on a Windows machine. AMD's ROCm is getting there, but will probably take a decent amount of time to get native Windows support. To benchmark deep learning performance of this laptop and compare it to my desktop, I wrote two benchmarking scripts based on PyTorch. One script creates a standard ResNet 50 model with 100 class predictions and trains it for 10 epochs on the CFAR 100 dataset. Here, the RTX 3060 laptop handily beats the GTX 1080 desktop. I've listed the times along with the VRAM usage and power consumption from the wall. The second script creates an image segmentation DNN and uses that to train the network on a salient object detection dataset called MSRA10K. The script is way more intense since it loads the input and output images, does a bunch of image augmentations, and then sends the data for training. So it hits the CPU a decent bit more and hits the GPU even harder compared to the tiny 32x32 pixel images of the CFAR 100 dataset. For FP32 performance, the desktop is quite a lot faster, but as soon as we switch to automatic mixed precision and the tensor cores in the RTX 3060 laptop GPU kicks in, the laptop wins, albeit barely. The only caveat here for the laptop is that it eats more VRAM for training the same model, which means that my desktop will be able to train bigger DNNs with bigger batch sizes. That's one reason why I couldn't suffice with the measly 4 GB of VRAM with the RTX 3050 Ti and the new Dell XPS 15. I needed at least 6 gigs of VRAM in my laptop, and the XPS 17 that does have the 3060 option is way too big and heavy for me personally. Now, if you're thinking that this is the best sub 1.8 kg laptop for deep learning, well, Razer has something to say about that. They recently released the AMD-based Blade 14. While it's super expensive, Razer was able to cram in an RTX 3080 laptop GPU in the same weight as the G14 while also being slimmer. For my money, the G14 is the better buy due to its bigger battery, longer travel keys on its keyboard, and a lower price for the RTX 3060 config. Not to mention the fact that the Blade isn't officially available in India. But for those who want the highest amount of GPU power in the smallest laptop package, the 2021 Blade 14 is a very compelling choice. ASUS also has other convincing options in their 2021 gaming laptop lineup, like the ROG Flow X13 and the Zephyrus G15. The G15 gives you all the ports and dual SSD slots for a larger and heavier body, while the Flow X13 crams AMD's HS series CPUs into the smallest form factor on the market for an insane CPU performance per weight. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with this laptop. It has the same speed as my old gaming desktop for deep learning and gets close enough when it comes to gaming performance, while only being 400 grams heavier than my Dell XPS 13. While the audio issues in the silent mode on battery power was very disappointing, and the fingerprint sensor not waking up with the laptop is irritating, ASUS has done a fairly good job in almost every other area of this laptop. I do hope that I'll see a software update eventually for this laptop to fix the issues that I have mentioned, which will make this laptop easier to recommend. In the meantime, if the issues that I mentioned don't bother you too much, then you should consider the G14 for your next laptop purchase. By the way, this isn't a full review of the 2021 G14 as I barely got the time to use the laptop over the past few weeks. So if you want to see a full in-depth review of the 2021 Zephyrus G14, I have some links in the video description from other YouTubers that you might want to check out. So that's it for now, and until next time, thanks for watching.